Chapter 2067 Holy Sword of Physics. After all, Ling's human body at this time is just a body. Although its defense is invincible, it cannot unleash too much powerful killing power. But Zhang Yi was not in a hurry at all. Since his defense is already invincible, then doesn't he have the final say on how to fight? Then let's have a pure physics collision. The furnace of the demon god's armor burned wildly, and the entire armor turned red. White mist rose from every corner of the armor, increasing the explosive power to the extreme. Then how about giving this a try? Zhang Yi swung Ling up with all his strength, and this time he used all his strength to hit her. Bang! Half of Ling's body fell on Olib's shield, and the whole earth seemed to shake violently. Olib's body trembled, and the shield finally cracked. The corners of Zhang Yi's mouth curled up. No matter how many believers the Junjing Church has, this is not Beta Gang after all. Olib, I'm afraid you can't borrow much power from the holy artifact. He had an evil look on his face. If you lose here, your copy of the Dead Sea Book will belong to me. Zhang Yi laughed loudly, feeling quite arrogant, but he could only endure it in front of his opponent. Olib's heart skipped a beat. It doesn't matter if he dies here. As a cardinal, he has long been prepared to sacrifice for his faith and the Holy See. But the Dead Sea Scrolls must never fall into the hands of others. Oliba looked around and saw that the infinite box coffin had blocked the entire space. Even if one wanted to use one's ability to replace the Dead Sea Book with its copy, it would be difficult to do so. In the distance, Ao Air, who didn't believe in evil, moved his left and right hands at the same time and condensed two huge lightning guns. He gritted his teeth and stared at Zhang Yi with anger in his eyes. Chaos, I don't believe that your ability to defend is truly invincible. Take this move from me. Zhang Yi frowned, and the next moment the silver lightning spear Gungnir and the black lightning spear Nidhogg were in front of him. This time, Zhang Yi did not absorb his attack. There was one thing that Aoer said was correct. He couldn't absorb Aoer's sure-hit attacks infinitely, nor could he bounce back his attacks. Because once Aoer's lightning gun is released, it will still lock onto him as the target. However, based on Aoer's current strength, if he wants his lightning gun to reach the energy threshold of Zhang Yi's alien space, it will probably take tens of thousands of rounds. Is it so hard to admit that you are not strong enough? Aoer, you are no longer the best in the world. Accept the reality. Zhang Yi grabbed Ling's legs and swung her backhand. Two huge bolts of lightning, energy bodies that were enough to destroy a large urban area, were smashed to pieces by Ling's human body, causing a black and white thunderstorm to flash across the sky. Pluto in the distance is also not idle. Styx, the god of the Styx, controlled the huge river Styx and tried to wrap up Zhang Yi again. As long as one is affected by the souls of the dead in the Styx, the body will fall into a corpse-like state until it is completely swallowed up by the souls of the dead in the Styx and becomes a zombie puppet. This rule field capability is difficult to deal with. Zhang Yi didn't indulge him at all. Reach out your hand and shake it toward Styx. God's domain purification. Pluto is theoretically an inhuman of the Black Bishop level, but being split into 5 personalities does not mean that each personality has Black Bishop level defense. Zhang Yi's instant destruction skill is impossible to defend against. Before the Styx River came close to Zhang Yi, his body was suddenly squeezed into the air by an enormous force. Puff! His shriveled body was squeezed into a ball of flesh, and blood spurted out from the cracks in his flesh, just like a bursting beef ball. Now Zhang Yi's ability index has reached 36,500 points, and his single target killing ability has become even stronger. No one expected that Zhang Yi could instantly kill a bishop-level alien with just one move, which made them extremely shocked. Instant skill, as long as you are within a certain range around him, you can't dodge it, right? Big beads of sweat were dripping down Karen's forehead. Although he tried his best to stay calm, he was still at a loss when facing an opponent with such unstoppable defense. At this time, his arms were still aching slightly. Even though his broken arms had been healed with the help of his enhanced regenerative ability, the pain still remained in his soul. You like to struggle to the death, right? Well, I'll give you this chance. Let's experience the feeling of being beaten. Zhang Yi didn't care about anyone else and launched a crazy attack on Olive in front of him. Bang, bang, bang. If Ling was conscious in the ether and still retained her emotions in the material world, she would definitely want to strangle Zhang Yi to death. After all, seeing her own body being used as a stick by Zhang Yi to beat others was really unbearable. There's no way because her body is too strong. It's really useless. Zhang Yi's attacks fell on Olive's shield like raindrops. Although the shield was extremely thick, it still had miraculous effects as Olive quickly recited the Holy Scripture. However, Zhang Yi's weapon was too powerful and the power of the demon armor was too great. Finally, the shield became increasingly fragile from the bombardment and cracks appeared. Odin and Pluto tried to help, but they could only distract Zhang Yi for a moment. Once Ling's human form appears, no matter how powerful your abilities are, they will be smashed to pieces. Finally, after Olive struggled to hold on, the sacred blue shield was directly shattered by Zhang Yi. Ling's arms drew an elegant arc in the air and then slapped Olive's face hard. Ah! Olive let out a scream, and several arcs flew out of his mouth, some of which were brown and some were red. It turned out that not only was his face smashed, but 7 or 8 teeth were also spit out of his mouth. This noble and elegant cardinal was no different from an ordinary person when he was beaten. Lord Chaos, stop. We are doing this for you. Even if we don't ask you for this treasure, if you take it out, it will attract the covetousness of others. Olive loudly defended his behavior, hoping that Zhang Yi could understand him. This is a treasure left behind by a great god-level civilization. Not to mention our human countries, even other powerful underground civilizations will be thinking of you. Only by taking it out and having all the major powers and forces of our species protect it together can we ensure that its value is maximized. This is also for your safety. Olive's face was slapped to pieces. He knew that it was impossible to take it back by brute force, so he began to persuade Zhang Yi with great reason. Chapter 2068, Everything is Clear. Hearing Olive's persuasion, Zhang Yi couldn't help laughing. He habitually carried Ling's body on his shoulders like a stick, but this body was very flexible and lay limply on his shoulders, just like carrying a dead body, which looked a bit weird. I tell you, I got this body through my own hard work. I can do whatever I want with it and use it however I want. At this point, Zhang Yi felt something was wrong. He could use it however he wanted. Forget it, Ling couldn't hear him. Otherwise, he would be dead. Even if I throw it away for her, it's still my business. Because I got it through my own hard work, not from any of you. He sneered at everyone present and said, "Don't even think about using the shackles of the devil to tie me up. I never fall for it. Do you really think I don't understand what's in your mind? You're just doing it for your own benefit. Why are you pretending to be so noble?" He held Ling's human body with one hand and glanced at everyone with confidence. Sharon also tried to persuade Zhang Yi to do something. Chaos, aren't you being too selfish? We all participated in this operation together. If we hadn't helped you hold back those ghost leaders, how would you have had the chance to get this treasure? We just want to have the right to use part of it. At most, we can leave the thing with you, but when we need it, you have to lend it to us. Sharon tried his best to make his tone kind. He was very afraid that Zhang Yi would rush over with a human-shaped doll. That's so unfair. No one can share my things with anyone. I do things, that's it. Zhang Yi picked up Ling, and the smile on his lips became more and more intense, even a little crazy. Everyone had different ideas. Chaos, what do you want to do? Zhang Yi sneered. You don't think that attacking me without permission and besieging me will not cost you anything, right? Everyone present here today, one by one, don't even think about getting away without breaking your dog heads. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Yi disappeared in front of everyone. When he appeared, he came in front of Sharon, and with an extremely violent aesthetic gesture, he swung the bell in his hand and hit Karen's stomach hard. Puff! Karen's fat-packed belly sank visibly, and he spat out last night's meal in one gulp, then flew backwards like a meteor. In an instant, the whole person disappeared from the scene and fell into Zhang Yi's different dimension. Sharon. Damn it. Seeing their mentor personality Sharon being taken into the different space by Zhang Yi, the other personalities became anxious. Sharon is an important personality that balances Pluto. If this personality disappears, Pluto may become a mentally disturbed lunatic. The three-headed hellhound, woof woof, roared and rushed towards Zhang Yi. The Hydra's head was like a pile driver, holding a weapon in its mouth and launching fierce attacks at Zhang Yi thousands of times a second. All of them put them in the pot. Zhang Yi is too lazy to even use his supernatural powers now. He breaks all the laws with one force and relies on Ling's physical strength to directly collide with the two giant beasts. What will be the consequences when a giant beast of the cult level collides with a super king level body? It was probably just as everyone imagined, like a floating object colliding with a locomotive. The more ferocious it was when it came, the more miserable it was when it was smashed away. The three-headed hellhound turned into a screaming puppy and was smashed into a different space by Zhang Yi while screaming woo-woo. Zhang Yi smashed the Hydra's heads one by one like playing whack-a-mole, then grabbed its tail and threw it into the alien space. He plans to throw us all into his other dimension and then slowly ravage us. Odin saw Zhang Yi's intention and his face turned pale instantly. If I enter Zhang Yi's different dimension, won't I be at Zhang Yi's mercy? He is the Norse god king and lord of Asgard. If he falls into such a state, how can he face people in the future? Chaos. Don't take things too far. We have no ill will towards you. We just want to discuss things with you. Odin shouted in a timid voice. Okay, then come to my space and let's talk. Zhang Yi went straight to Odin. The eternal spear Gungnir, the black thunder spear Nidhogg, and the mighty and majestic eight-winged Pegasus all turned into ashes in front of Ling and were smashed to pieces. Odin still wanted to struggle, but Zhang Yi, who was close to him, directly controlled him and grabbed his collar like a chicken. He was still struggling, his face flushed and his neck thick as he shouted, "You can't do this to me. I have shed blood for the human race, and I have contributed to sealing Mammon. I am the noble Nordic god king." Zhang Yi turned him over and kicked him hard in the butt, kicking him into the different space like a ball. "Why are you so awesome? Why are you pretending in front of me?" Odin's screams suddenly stopped, and he had fallen into Zhang Yi's different dimension. Suddenly, Zhang Yi felt a vibration in the space. Olive teamed up with Karen's other personalities and tried to attack Zhang Yi's infinite casket, trying to blast it open and escape. They didn't want to endure Zhang Yi's humiliation. Zhang Yi laughed. "Do you think you can escape after coming to this area? Blast open his infinite coffin? Stop joking." Even for the Black Bishop, it is not easy to break through Zhang Yi's dimensional door now. While the two were still trying, Zhang Yi rushed over carrying Ling. Several people suddenly turned pale. Alabu raised the Dead Sea Scrolls with his unyielding left hand and swung the holy sword in his right hand. Flames that could burn a barrel rose up and turned into a huge fire dragon, circling towards Zhang Yi. The goddess of the night, Nyx, raised her hand and condensed starlight in the darkness. The dark planet in her palm was as mysterious and beautiful as a wizard's crystal ball. Then, a powerful energy ray burst out from the crystal ball and shot at Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi very generously protected Ling's human body in front of him. All the attacks dissipated the moment they touched Ling's body. Olive's face turned green. How to play when you encounter such a cheater. I am completely white. What did he understand? Of course, it was one of the fireworks emitted by Tianyu Palace. The light gate has been closed for more than a month, but Ichigo has still not appeared, as if he were dead. However, Zhang Yi and Yang Xinxin returned to the outside world and demonstrated incredibly powerful abilities. Dear viewers, thanks for staying with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.